Hey Vision Chasers, this is Dr. Byrd here. Just yesterday, I was able to go watch a movie, just last night as a matter of fact, and the movie was supposed to start at 9, but of course I had to watch 20 minutes of commercials, another 10 minutes of trailers, and so I was out of there by like 1 o'clock in the morning. But you don't want to hear about that. We'll save that rants for another episode. But it was really interesting that during those 20 minutes of commercials, I actually saw 2 commercials for Oreo cookies. Oreo cookies, you take it, you twist it, lick it, whatever, or you dip it, whatever you want to do with it. But you know, Oreo cookies, okay? So I saw 2 commercials for Oreo cookies, and these commercials featured celebrities who were pumping up the Oreo cookies, and you've probably seen these commercials yourself. But I was thinking, my goodness gracious, these celebrities, they're not doing these commercials out of the goodness of their heart. They're getting paid. They're making money for doing these commercials, and I'm sure they're getting their money up front for doing these commercials. And I was thinking to myself, this is really interesting because, you know, there's a lot of knockoffs, and I have some here in terms of Oreo cookies. I can get, if I want that Oreo cookie taste, I can go to any store and buy an off-brand of Oreo cookies. So here, I don't even remember where I got this from, but I mean, there you go. I mean, basically, now Nabisco or its parent company wouldn't want me to say this, but basically, these are Oreo cookies, right? I mean, the taste is, I would say 95% similar, okay? So this is a knockoff brand, and these are cheaper too. They're cheaper than the original Oreo cookies. So there's one knockoff, and I have another one here. I stopped at 2 because there's so many. Just any store, you can go and find a knockoff brand of Oreo cookies. And so when I was in this movie theater waiting for my movie to start, I was thinking to myself, I was thinking about you, because I was thinking to myself, it's just so interesting, because I wonder why Nabisco would spend this money to pay these celebrities to pump up Oreo cookies when there's so many different alternatives, so many shortcuts that people can take in order to get that Oreo cookie taste. And then I did some research, and I found that going back to, it was 2015, I think it was, Nabisco sold over 700 million packages of Oreo cookies. And that cost came to close to $3 billion. $3 billion. And you know what that means? That means that, you know, the Oreo cookies were created in the early 1900s, so a long, long time ago. But it means that, you know, the old standards, the nice things from the past that they may be pretty old, but they still work and they still produce results. People want the old school Oreo cookie, and many people who are experts in marketing, they'll tell you that there's different reasons why, you know, they're able to produce that much money in sales. But then I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about life, and I think that based off of this, you know, the old school things, there's some things that still, even though they're old, they still produce results. That works in life, and definitely that works for you as a student. The old, even though they may be old, they still produce results. And for you, I want to go through just 3 things for you as a student. They may be old, they may seem a little tired to you because you've heard about them so many times, but they still produce results. So number 1 is studying. Studying. I know you've probably heard it a lot, but it still produces results. Because think about this. On the day of the test, you're going to have to pull from the information that is up here in order to show that you actually understand the information that was taught. And if you can't pull from anything, if there's no information up here to pull out, then you're going to be in big trouble when the test is presented to you. You're probably not going to do very well. So studying still works. Now, for many different people, studying works in different ways. Some people don't have to study a lot, but there's a lot of people who do have to put in a great deal of time in a particular way. It could be flashcards, could be Kahoot, whatever works for you. It still pays off to study in advance, not 1 or 2 days before the test. It still pays off to study in advance. Again, I know it may seem old school. There's many shortcuts in terms of studying, but if they're not producing the results, then you've got to go back to the old school, to what still produces results. Maybe use those note cards. Maybe it's 2-3 weeks outside of a test, maybe 5 to 7 minutes a day of studying. True studying. Trust me, it still works. I know it does. The second thing I want to talk to you about, it may be old, it is old, but it still produces results. And that is asking questions. Asking questions still works. You know, one of the greatest teachers throughout history, his name was Socrates, and he set up his classroom in a way that invited students to ask questions, multiple questions. And I love this style of teaching because what it does, whenever you ask a question, you receive some information, and what you must do when you receive that information is you must understand it first and then be able to analyze it, and that leads you to your next follow-up question. Think of it as a lawyer who's doing some cross-examination. And I love that style of learning because you're always thinking, your brain is always working and getting closer and closer to the answer. And that style of teaching, really, it helps you to not check out because your brain has to be constantly engaged because you're trying to go somewhere. So asking questions still works. Please don't ever sit up in class and just watch stuff going on in the classroom. The teacher's talking and the teacher lost you 10, 20 minutes ago and you're just like, I hear you talking, but I don't understand. Don't let that be because you're not asking questions. Asking questions still works. I promise you that. It still produces results. The last thing I want to tell you that still works, respect. Respect still works. Now, obviously going both ways, and I can speak for 99.9% of the teachers out there. They respect you. They wouldn't be doing the job if they didn't respect you and care about you learning and growing. But respect, that still matters, and it still works. It just makes for a better learning environment, makes for a better relationship between you and your teacher, so you can work together in order to make sure that you're successful. So, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, please. I'm here in class on time because I respect the hard work, teacher, that you've put into this lesson that you're about to present to me. Thank you for that so much. Also, sir, I disagree with your decision, but I respect your authority to make that decision, and I would love to speak to you privately at a later time about this matter. Respect still works. It still produces results. So I want you to think about those three things. Again, studying, asking questions, and respect. Those three things, even though they may be old, they may seem old school, they still produce the results that you're looking for. So think about that, and until we meet again, please keep chasing the vision. Bye.